Does this look all right? Okay, you guys, this is a very impromptu video that I decided to do in response to many of your comments and questions and messages that I've received. That question is, am I driving for Junior Motorsports like we did last race season? The short answer to that is no. I'm sorry, but the answer is no. Now I want to explain why. Before I get going too deep, if you're wondering why I'm wearing the NASCAR garb, well, one, it's a NASCAR related video, and two, Jarrett, they were my favorite sponsors from last year. I still have one of their track shirts. So let me back up really quick. If you were here for the short answer, you received the short answer, you can click out. If you want to know the full story explanation of how I got with NASCAR, how it went, and why I'm not doing it, settle in for a few minutes. So it all began about 2 years ago. I had a friend of mine, Mr. Taylor Moyer, and his wife Leah came out to Montana to come visit. Now I'd gotten to know Taylor through social media, through Instagram actually, and we'd become friends. We had a lot of similar interests in cattle and in trucks and in semis. So he comes out and visits. As we're sitting around the fire visiting, I mentioned to Taylor that it would be really cool to be able to somehow tag along just for a trip, even if it was in my own car, just following the hauler trucks from, race to race. And that was the end of it, until Taylor called me back. And he says, hey, I have an idea. I need to run something by you. I may have overstepped my bounds, but I think you'll be in. So he walks me through this plan that would be mutually beneficial both to Junior Motorsports, to Taylor as the crew chief of the number 8 car, and to me as a fun-loving, trucking, adventurous fella from Montana. And in a nutshell, what that became was Junior Motorsports would fly me out to Charlotte. We would jump in the semi. I would be a co-driver. We would do the race. After the race, I drive home. After we get back to Charlotte, I fly back to Montana. And that would be the arrangement. Now, in exchange for them spending all the money to fly me back and forth to be a co-driver, I was going to create content for them. And we did. We created some great content. And I honestly feel like it went better than I ever could have imagined. The response from you all out there in YouTube land was great. It was funny at a lot of the tracks. This is professional motorsports, and we're pushing the car around and going by the fences and whatnot as we're preparing for the race. And about halfway through the race season, every track we went to, there was somebody stopping, not to say hi to the race car driver and the crew and whatnot, but it was to talk to us truck drivers because they had been following us on YouTube as we were traveling back and forth. So it kind of became this joke that, here's the truckers again, signing autographs from their episodes. So I created content for Junior Motorsports, both on YouTube, of course, and on Instagram. Created some short form content for them there. And I think the response was great. I think that their followers on Instagram really enjoyed it, and as I already mentioned, the YouTube land enjoyed it. And it also, I know that it brought more people to the Junior Motorsports family. People that maybe previously weren't necessarily fans of that race company started following along and joined in. So I feel from my end like it served them well, it served me well, and Taylor's side of it, his belief as a leader, as a crew chief is, happy people, happy crew, success, right? That's kind of the flow. If you've got angry people and people that are stressed out and frazzed, you're not going to have success. So by having a good trucking crew, that's like the foundation to get things moved across the country, and then things would continue to be well from there. Now, let me back up a little bit to share with you what allowed me to be able to do this in the first place. I had a good friend of mine who had recently sold his truck and decided that he wanted to drive for me in my business, because as NASCAR's going on out here, on the home front, I have I have a trucking business, I have customers to take care of and things to do. And being gone with NASCAR took huge chunks of time away. So I needed somebody that could take care of business for me, like literally take care of business for me while I was gone. And that was a good friend of mine, Cody Dupree. So while I was on the road with NASCAR, Cody was taking care of cattle loads and the loads here around that we move around Montana and around the United States. The race content's great. Taylor's having fun. I'm having fun. Junior Motorsports is getting some content. It's about halfway through the race season, I started to see a few things shifting with business here. My driver and friend, Cody, was presented with a great opportunity to remove himself from trucking and focus full-time on developing his cattle ranch. I'm not going to be one to discourage someone from pursuing a life's dream. So I told Cody, I think that's great, you should do that. Where that put me was nobody here anymore to take care of the day-to-day needs of our customers when it came to trucking. And on top of that, I started to see that the trucking industry was beginning a pretty rapid descent into chaos, which we are fully in the midst of right now. The trucking industry, just as a little sidebar, is a total disaster right now. There's guys going out of business left and right. There's way too many trucks available on the market and not near enough loads right now to push them around. That creates a really, really bad market. The market is so bad for freight that people are not able to make their payments, hence they're going out of business. That's where we're at right now. I saw this beginning to churn a little bit and to stew last midsummer. So I had to have the hard conversation with Taylor. I felt terrible because he'd opened this amazing opportunity for me. And I had to say, look, I'm not gonna have anybody at home to take care of my business. If my business fails, as much as I love being out here and doing this NASCAR stuff, I'll come home at the end of the season to nothing. I'll have lost what I've built and developed here at home. Taylor said, look, of course I'm sad. Of course we love you out here, but it's family first. 1,000%, you take care of your family. We'll figure this out, but you have to take care of your family. And it was a huge weight off my shoulders that he received that so well. I still felt bad, of course, for having to leave. And so you may remember I did leave, I think it was 2 or 3 races early last season so that I could come home and take care of business. And at the same time, I knew that I needed to stockpile as much money as I could last fall to help get me through what we're experiencing right now. And we did that. The business as well, things were taken care of, and despite the hardships we're going through right now, I think we're weaving a path through what will be a really hard 2024 and hopefully a more prosperous 2025. So let's catch you up on the 2024 stuff. So at the end of the 2023 season, as all professional teams do, they lose pieces and parts of their team, okay? You see it in football and the NFL every year. You see it in baseball, basketball. NASCAR is no different. The crews, the crew chiefs, the drivers, the mechanics, the engineers, things all get shuffled around. Someone that's a great engineer on one car is going to be courted by another race company, and they, are going to go their way. So things really get shuffled up. How did things end up shuffling for the number 8 car? They were majorly shuffled. One, because our driver, Josh Berry, was signed to a cup team, Stuart Haas, taking Kevin Harvick's place as Kevin Harvick retired. So Josh Berry, our driver, is gone. Taylor, the crew chief, has been in NASCAR for a long time, and this is kind of the funny irony of this. My truck driver last year, Cody, had an opportunity to begin ranching full-time and pursue some of those dreams. So he did that. Well, in the off-season, Taylor essentially had similar opportunities arise where he began to see that this is a stepping off point for him. He's been in NASCAR for a long time, and he evaluated some things and decided that it was time to retire from crew chiefing and from NASCAR. So Taylor went and is doing that, is doing very well with that, happy and successful. And so that's where he's at. We brought in a new driver. I shouldn't say we, because I'm not with Junior Motorsports, but Junior Motorsports brought in a new driver, Sammy Smith. He's in the number 8. He ends up, they end up building a new crew around him. My man Chris, me and Christos, if you're watching. Anyway, Christos is also doing some other things now. So we all are kind of like the band broke up essentially. With Taylor being gone, honestly, Taylor was my main, he was like my in. He was the one that greased the wheels and pushed things through to get me involved. And with him being gone, there's just not that connection there anymore. Junior Motorsports never reached out, beyond the season, to offer anything or want to do anything in the future, which is fine. There's some other race teams. I'm sure if I really pushed and tried to, I think I could maybe do it again, or even maybe with Junior Motorsports. And perhaps something in the future will arise. I know you guys love these videos. They were extremely successful. So not to say that I couldn't probably do something in the future with Junior Motorsports again, or perhaps with another race team. It would be kind of fun to see some of the other race teams. But this would have to be done on a 2 or 3 race basis. It just took enough time away from my schedule that I couldn't accomplish much at home while doing that. I would love to come out and be able to do 2 or 3 races a year, just to kind of satiate the hunger out there for videos and stay connected to that. Will that happen? I haven't heard a peep from anybody, so as of this moment, no. There are no future plans for NASCAR. There are no current plans in the works for NASCAR. Everything is pretty well radio silent at the moment. I did make some great connections while I was out there with NASCAR, you guys, with Junior Motorsports. I've made some what I feel like are lifelong friends, both in our crew that I drove with, the whole Junior Motorsports truck driving crew, of course with Taylor Moyer, the crew chief. So anyway, y'all, I appreciate you listening in. Hopefully this is a good explanation for you, and I know it's been a huge question that everybody's been asking. So to kind of wrap it up and put a bow on it, just really slammed this year, got a lot of things going here as well as the hardships in the trucking business. It's just a year where I really need to be sharp and be focused and make sure that we make proper choices with the business and such to navigate and get through it. Maybe something will come up in the future, maybe not. If it doesn't, I will always treasure that year, the friendships that I've made, the camaraderie. It was great. So, do I have any regrets about it? 0 regrets. It was a lot of fun. All in all, it was a great experience. So you guys, thanks for sitting in again, and till next time, be good.